All right, welcome to Fishing with Werebear. Today I'm going to talk through my kayak setup. I want to say I got this maybe 3 to 4 years ago. I used to rock the old Field and Stream Shadowcaster. I think dry, like it weighed around 95 pounds. It was quite the tank to kind of paddle around. And then I went up to Strictly Sail and Kayak. It's a local kayak shop up in Cincinnati area. I can't remember exactly what I paid for it, but I did a lot of research on these things. And what it came down to me was the pedal drive. Out of all the fishing kayaks with the pedals, it rated the highest. So that's what I went with. I thought about getting the Powered by Minn Kota, but then I didn't want to have to register it every year. And then I didn't also want to spend the extra money. So I ended up getting the pedal drive instead. I do really like it over paddling. It's just convenient, be able to fish more hands-free than what I could do with the paddle. So I'll start up in the front. I've got my Lawrence Hook Reveal 7. It's got down imaging. I like that quite a bit. I picked that up last year, and I think this is a Yak Attack attachment that I put in the front. I used to have that thing mounted right here off to the side on the rail, but I didn't really like it a whole lot. It just kind of got in the way. So I was trying to find a place to put it where it would be not in the way when I'm fishing, it'd be out in front of me when I'm actually fishing, that I can see it. And then I just run, I'll move this so you can actually see it. Let me put this down real quick. Well, maybe not. All right. So you can see in there, it's got a built-in spot for you to run your cables through. And that's what I did with that. All right, so I did run it through here. So it goes into my dry storage in the front. And then I just got my wires ran. So I got online and did some research. I didn't want like a real bulky, heavy battery. Also wanted something that was gonna last and be easy to set up. I got this thing, the Nokia, however you pronounce it. But it comes in this little case. It's waterproofed. It's a lithium battery. It's 12 volt. There's times out at Erie when we go up, I fish for, 8 hours in the day, and this thing holds its charge. The only thing I ran into issues with is if this isn't running at a certain voltage, then I get flickering on my fish finder. So after each session, I have to make sure that I charge it so that doesn't happen. And then I just keep that up here in the front. I did have like a little plastic container that I kept it in to keep it from sliding, but you can see like the glue is melted and then it kind of deteriorated. So I run that in the front. I saw on TikTok, there's a company that makes a mount that mounts onto your pedal drive so that you're literally have your screen right there in front of you. I haven't picked one of those up yet. I'm gonna wait. I am gonna get one at some point, but awesome news that Old Town came out with is that they are going to be getting universal pedal drives with the e-pedals. So, it's powered by the electric once you get it running. So they're going to make that compatible with their older models, which they weren't currently doing. I'm so pumped about that. They said it should be coming out late spring, early summer. Haven't gave a price point on it. I'm assuming it's going to be expensive, but I'll probably end up getting it at some point. And I didn't even remember to mention this, but this is an Old Town Sportsman 106. I did the 106 just so that I could easily move it. There's times where we go fishing and you gotta lift it, and I wanted to keep it as much on the lighter side as possible, so I went with the 106 over the 120. And I'm 6 foot, about 240, and the only times I've ever flipped this thing is just being an idiot and stepping into it like I'm stepping onto a boat and putting all my body weight to one side. But I fished standing up, you know, lakes, rivers, creeks, and I've not fallen in while actually fishing. It's all been, you know, getting in and starting off. So it works out pretty well. It's pretty sturdy. Pedal drive's nice. It locks in place. You can pop it up and then it stays up, but you just have the hole in the middle. I believe I bought it from Navarre Kayak, but if you've never bought anything from his business, top notch. They just make different accessories that are compatible with the different kayaks. So they have a face plate that goes in place of the pedal drive. So if you ever just wanted to paddle, I'm not sure why you would want to do that. If you're fishing more shallow stuff in a creek or a shallow river, it pops in place and then you don't need to use the pedal drive. And then he made something else I'm going to show you. So the problem I ran into with this also was that the transducer was really long and it didn't fit initially in the place underneath. So we'll kind of take a look under here real quick. And so right here you can see it's got the spot to run your transducer, and then it mounts right here for, you know, if I was to do that with this, the transducer is going to go, and when I drop that pedal drive, it's hitting the propeller, the prop. So I had to do some research and found, again, my guy at Navarre Kayaks made a, you know, transducer mount that fits into the scupper hole. And it's, you know, this little piece right here, and then it has a bolt coming out through the top with a wire nut that I tied in. Phenomenal. I've not had any issues with it. It hangs right at the bottom of the kayak, so it doesn't really scrape or get dinged up on anything. I actually had bought a different one from him that didn't work. I still ran into the same issues. He actually called me up and we troubleshot it together, and then he sent out a new transducer mount. You want to talk about top-notch customer service? He's the man. I've bought quite a few things from his company just because he does a great job and makes good stuff. And you can see it just goes into that scupper hole, and then, you know, that bolt in the wing nut. This thing has a couple scupper holes. I've got them mainly plugged up just to try to stay dry. And then up here, I bought these on Amazon, but these allow you to let the water drain out. So if you do get some water coming up from the pedal drive, it'll go out the front. You got storage on the side. You got storage up underneath the seat. This is my rudder control, so control the direction. I actually swapped that out. I saw a video recommend, you know, that would be a first thing that you do, is swap that thing out. To lower the transducers right here, you just pull that thing back and not the transducer, but the rudder drops. And then you got some storage up underneath the seat. I didn't do anything fancy to the seat. I just bought like a pad on Amazon. I use this thing didn't last too long, but I keep that on the back. Seat's really fairly comfortable, but again, like there's times I'm out on the water for hours, 6+, so I bought a pad to help out. You've got, you know, your rail system. I don't really use these a whole lot just because I want to keep this area free, and I've got a lot of storage for rod holders with the the milk crate that I got. One thing I do like too about this is you can see in the front, it's got that spot there to lay down your rod, and then you just fit it up underneath, which is nice. And then on the other side, you got a cup holder, which is nice for the coffee for those early mornings. You got a rod holder here. This rod holder, actually, the rod would face going forward. There's one on each side in the back. Those face back. And then I've got my milk crate. You got more dry storage up underneath if you had additional batteries. Again, I don't use this. There's nothing I keep in that. I don't ever plan on putting a trolling motor on this, so there's no storage that I use for that. And it's nice because it locks. I looked into getting seat risers, and I was kind of shocked at how expensive they were. I mean, it's kind of crazy to me what they charge for those. So I just grabbed 2 2x4s. I bolted them together. I wrapped them in black duct tape, and it literally just slides underneath, and it keeps me up so I can see a little bit better. I don't even remember what it cost, but compared to buying the risers, it was super cheap. I got the paddle holder. I don't ever really use these. I just bring it for emergency reasons. I know when I go up to Erie, there's parts in East Harbor where there's a lot of grass, and the grass gets caught in the prop. So there's times where I keep it down, but I don't pedal. I just kind of navigate with the paddle there. And the nice thing about these two is you just take this wing nut off, and you can pop your prop off, and you can clean it out. I've gotten fishing line, thankfully only stuck in there one time, which was a big pain in the butt, but made it super easy just to be able to pop those things off. And I recommend too, just buy yourself an extra one, keep you some extra fittings in there too, in case you lose it on the water. We'll work to the back. Lots of storage back here, especially too behind the seat. I keep a cooler back there, especially for longer trips. Sometimes my soft plastic bags I'll put in the back. Milk crate with my additional rod holders. And the nice thing is, this doesn't really interfere with the ones that are pre-made onto the kayak itself. Then you have your bungee cords to strap in. What I end up doing is the seat latch, I actually run that latch up through my milk crate and secure it so that this thing doesn't go anywhere. And then you got your rudder in the back. With the rudder, it goes down with the handle I showed you. They recommended swapping the pin out. So that's the first thing I did, was got a new pin. I debated on getting a thicker rudder. I don't really do creeks that often, so I didn't really do that. And then up underneath these, on the front and the back, you've got some keel guards. So you can see there, and if you go back to that first video, or earlier in the video, you can see that there's some more on that. And those swap out, so when those things start to deteriorate, you can replace them. I'm a big fan, I've seen the new Bonafide. I think it's like the XRT. That thing's a boat. That thing's sick. I really wish that there was a way to modify to a swivel seat to be able to spin around, but all in all, it does its business. I like it. It's a good kayak. Very happy with it. Excited they decided to come out with the e-pedal drive that's going to work for previous models. I understand why companies don't do it, but please your customers. Make it so that you can buy new features with it without having to buy a completely new boat. I'll probably rock this thing for a long time. I don't foresee myself getting anything new. It does the job.